Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I told you we're going back to back, we're dropping a whole bunch of videos, and this is the second one I want to do. Instead of news, I want to do another tier list, because I haven't done one in a while. I think the last one was just ranking the animes I've watched. So here, Pride Month's almost over, so we're going to go for a ranking every BL anime I've watched, and some BL live dramas too. I was going to include manga, but I haven't finished all the BL manga I'm reading, so I don't want to include all those. And we're only going off of what's shown in the show, right? Because Sasuke Miyano, for example, they go at least 4 volumes past. Like, there's 10 total volumes, they adapt 6. And then the other 4 I've read, but, like, I Cannot Reach You, I've only watched the drama, I haven't read the manga yet. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to include content that nobody knows about. So, I think we're going to start from right to left. Obviously, there's no F tier. I was going to add one, but none of these are an F tier to me. So I think starting off, we go from the right to left. We go for Nakamura. I think this is an instant S for me, right? I explained this to a group chat I'm in. The reason I really watch BL isn't for the romance necessarily. It's for how the characters deal with society. Because obviously, the LGBTQ aren't the most welcome people. There's a whole month dedicated to them, but people still resent them for some reason, whether that be their religion, whether that be peer pressure. It's something that people just don't like. And seeing how these people in these anime deal with it, for example, Nakamura never actually tells anybody that he's gay, but obviously Kawamura finds out. I think that the way he deals with everything, I don't think his family knows either. He's very scared of what would happen if anyone else found out. Would he be made fun of? Would he be, like, exiled from society? Even when, a little bit of spoiler territory, but when he finds out that Hirose has a girlfriend, he doesn't even have the willpower to go and confront him and ask, hey, do you have a girlfriend? The first thing he just does is walk through a city with a street full of couples, straight couples, and then he goes home and cries in his bed. So, I think that, Nakamura does a very good job at portraying the struggles of being gay, but I also, just really love the anime in general. Hirose is a good character. I really like Tamura and his relationship with the blue-haired girl, I forgot her name. What's his name? Matsumoto? Something like that. He's a cool character too, Nakamura finally finding a rival, someone else who likes Hirose like that, and it's another guy. Yeah, so I really like the anime. I don't want to go too much into it, but that's about it. Given, I've watched the entire series, all the movies, the newest, OVA that came out. I haven't read the manga version of it, but I'd say it's the same. I'm gonna put this in A. I don't think, because I consider Given the first, my second BL anime. Technically, my first would be Yuri on Ice, but I really don't count that, because I watched it as a sports anime, not as a BL anime. So my first would be Tasogare Out of Focus, second would be Given. Where Tasogare was kind of just, I'm going to rank this one too. Tasogare, I'm going to put low A. But Tasogare, when I discovered it, it was mostly a clip on YouTube of, the first episode, so it was, them setting the rules, and I found that what they were saying, was, so hilarious, and, so out of the ordinary, that you'd probably not see that in most modern anime, so I decided, okay, I'll give it a shot, and I really liked it, but it wasn't, the greatest. I would say I'd actually maybe put it in B. It reminded me a lot of, I watched Banana Fish way after the fact, but the similarities between Ash and Eiji, and the two in, are you serious? But the similarities between Ash and Eiji and whatever the two in there are called, Hisashi and Mao, are uncanny, from their looks to their kind of personalities, so I really liked it. But that was also just kind of okay, this is something I've never watched before. I've never watched a BL anime, again, not counting Yuri on Ice, so I want to give it a shot. But I was just watching it for, the vibes, the comedy. I was interested in how they would do a BL anime, but it wasn't, great. For Given example, right? Given, there's really plot points, and given every plot point can't exist without the other. Like, the plot points would be, Mafuyu's childhood friends, the band Mafuyu's currently in, and, what else? Like, his other friends, their drama. Like, you can't have Mafuyu be in the band without his past trauma. You can't have, Mafuyu's friends, resolve their drama without Mafuyu being in a band, right? Without Mafuyu confronting his past, there's no way that anything else can really happen. I mean, he'll still be in the band, but if none, like, you get what I'm saying, right? It's hard to explain, but one plot point cannot exist without the others. That's basically what I'm saying. And I really like that aspect of it, and I think the relationships were great. It didn't truly take over the anime, whereas, like, oh, they get into a band and then they form a relationship, and then all of a sudden, like, it's just, oh, they want to do this as a couple, they want to do that. Like, it really hyper focuses on all of them, or it doesn't hyper focus on one thing, and that's what I really like. And obviously the music is really good too. Sentimental and the voice actor of Mafuyu, they really did something on here. It was just wow. But now I think we move on to Yuri on Ice. This one I might actually put in D, because I'm rating these as BL, right? I'm not rating this for sports anime. Yuri on Ice just doesn't check the boxes. I mean, there's like very minimal relationship stuff, like romance. And, like I said, it's really a sports anime. It's focused on figure skating. It's just that's just a small side plot that, they slowly fall in love. And it doesn't really get expanded upon either. It's just that, oh, we know they like each other. But, nothing really happens, especially because we didn't get Ice Adolescence and it got canceled. So I imagine we probably would have got a lot more romance in that. But for the sake of just Yuri on Ice, it's a D tier, right? They could have done way better, but Mappa, like, they just didn't release Ice Adolescence. They didn't release a season 2, so, like, we'll never know what their full capabilities were. This next one, honestly, the Sea Stranger by the Beach, I'm gonna call it Seaside Stranger, because that's simpler, and that's the manga. This goes above Nakamura for me. Nakamura hits the boxes in every aspect. Stranger by the Seashore does that and doubles it. I don't want to say too much because I'm going to get into a very long rant about this, but one of the quotes in the movies is my favorite, of all the things we can fear in this world, we fear love. I hope I worded that word for word. But just from that quote alone, you can kind of see, like, this tackles a lot of emotions. It starts off with a little bit of spoilers here. Mio, both his parents died at a young age. I forgot. His mom died, at least. I don't remember what happened to his dad. And so he had to live alone until finally he went off to school. And, he had talked to Shun, but not like, they didn't form a relationship or like that kind of bond yet. And so they decided, okay, I've got to go. And then he comes back 2 years later, and then all of a sudden they start getting closer to each other. And while Mio has to confront his feelings of loneliness that, his parents left or instilled in him when they passed or left, Shun has to confront his family and his ex and a whole bunch of other issues. And I feel like they tackle these issues really well. I think that, without going into too much detail, I think the way that Shun confronts his past, he doesn't, I think, because the movie only adapts the first volume, so the second volume is where, like, he actually confronts his family. But the way he confronts his ex-girlfriend is really interesting, because you can tell they still have feelings for each other, but he also wants to move on from her. So they just execute it in a way that's really hard for me to explain, but it's a really good movie, and I really recommend it. Next up, we're going to go for Let's Eat Together Aki and Haru. This one I'm going to put in A tier. I read the manga for this first. It's 3 volumes. And really, I read it for the food aspect because there's not much BL. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I forgot we're ranking this on BL, so I'm going to put this in C. If this was, like, my favorite of these, You know what? Yeah, let's just put it in A. You know, it has like the minimal BL aspects of it, and the movie is like way different from the manga. Like it does a lot of things different, but I really liked it because I feel like the movie it actually shows their feelings more than in the manga. So, you know, it's like a big food romance anime. Two college friends who just stay with each other, and eventually one of them develops feelings for the other. You get the whole thing, right? I don't have to explain it to you. But even in the manga, there's not like a whole bunch of romance until like the last volume, which is when they develop the feelings. And honestly, that's what I really like too. Like they focus on their time spent together. They don't focus on like, oh, I need to be with you every step of the way. Like that. It's not like that the whole story, and it's not like that in the movie either. So that's what I really like about it. Like it's just a cool slice of life BL romance. Sasuke and Miyano. I don't know where I'm gonna put this. I think I want to put this in S. If you had me rank these before I watched Nakamura, I probably would have put this in first place. You know, because after watching Nakamura, that inspired me to go back and consume more Stranger by the Shore, and that's what like affirmed my S tier placement. But Sasuke Miyano, it just again, it does everything right. It's the perfect slice of life BL. You know, it doesn't go over the top. It's not over sexual or anything. It's just two dudes. And like obviously Miyano's like such a geek as well. Like him and his reading his BL. Like there's a lot that goes on here. But yeah, I really liked it. And I've read the entire manga. I'm reading Hirano and Kagiura currently. Yeah, I just think Miyano is such a great character. And Tashiro too. I really like that guy. Dokusei. I would put this above Haru. I don't know if I would personally put this above Given. I think I like Given more. Dokusei just does everything right again. You know, this one's a movie just like Stranger by the Shore. But for me personally, I really liked it. But I wouldn't say it's better than any of these four. You know, it's just like kind of the same thing as Seaside Stranger, except like it's more set in the school. Because like this guy, the blonde hair, he's in a band. He's trying to teach the other guy how to sing so he can like impress the teacher. But then, you know, they start developing feelings. So it's just like a good chill anime. I would definitely recommend it. You know, there's a bit of sexual stuff in the Seaside Stranger, but none of that, in maybe except a kiss in Dokusei. I hope that's the case. I hope I'm not lying. I forgot, honestly. And finally, we have Yes Nor Maybe. I'll put this up below Tasogare, just because, like, it was just like a normal romance. Like, you could have easily gotten that out of any random anime, but it was a lot better than Yuri on Ice. I really liked it. It's just that you could have easily gotten something else from it. Oh my goodness, I forgot one. Oh my goodness, okay, I'll get it at the end. Takara-kun and Namagi-kun were finally in the drama categories. Here you have, we're gonna put this in above Dokusei, because I like this one. I feel like this one does just as good as a job as Nakamura, as showing like what it's like trying to hide your feelings from everybody else in school, and that's what I really like. And it's a lot school focused. Like obviously there's some stuff that goes on outside of the school, but you know, I really like that aspect of it. Yeah, and the actor for Amagi is great. You know, if there's ever a live action Sasuke Miyano, I definitely want him to play Miyano. This one I just finished this most recently, Senpai This Can't Be Love, where got a dude on the right falls in love with this guy because he looks up to him his whole life because he loves CGI. Honestly, I think as a romance it works great. I'm gonna put it in B tier above Tasogare. It does like check a lot of those boxes, but it's known from the beginning how Kaneda feels, and he reveals it to Yanase. It's just like whether or not Yanase can reciprocate the feelings. So while Kaneda is the main character, a lot of it is based on Yanase. So I like that, like the POV switch. Like sometimes you'll have Yanase trying to figure things out, or you'll have Kaneda freaking out. That's what I like. And finally, not finally, we have I Cannot Reach You. I'll put this in S as well. This one it works. You know what? I might put this above Takara, but below Given, because I think Given still had like the bigger impact on me, and I love it. But I Cannot Reach You. Any BL fan who's watched this can tell you it's great because it feels so real, right? Kind of like Stranger by the Seashore, but you know, it just goes into their feelings. And this one's two childhood friends. Like everything else I've shown here, they don't know each other, right? They're just meeting for the first time in the anime. And you know, maybe except for Aki and Haru, because they've been college roommates, but still they met in college. I Cannot Reach You, they've been friends their whole lives, and eventually fall in love with each other. So that's what I really like. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to spoil anything because I'm going to spoil so much if I rant about these any longer. Yeah, Yamato and the other guy are just like the perfect BL couple. And honestly, I think it's time to go for the final one. I'm just gonna like hide my screen real quick. So yeah, this next one I'm just gonna talk about right now. It's like a really good anime because it's not necessarily it's not like your typical romance, right? It's not just a whole bunch of people trying to figure out their feelings inside of a school. You know, it's more so in the workplace. So here we have Candy Color Paradox. This one is going an S. I really like this one. I liked it a lot more than I Cannot Reach You. It took me a while to finish this. Same with Senpai This Can't Be Love. But Candy Color Paradox is just the chef's kiss on things. Like, I really love the mystery and the crime drama that it's in. And, you know, there's a lot of really good scenes between the two. Again, I'm not going to go too much into this. You're going to have to look it up yourself. Especially, yeah, I just don't want to spoil anything. It gets so bad when I start ranting. Yeah, this is basically my tier list. Sorry to Yuri on Ice. There's a lot more I wanted to rank too, like Minato's Laundromat, Hirano and Kagiura, My Ultramarine Sky. There's a whole bunch of manga I've read, but I haven't finished them all. And, you know, I would have included Minato's Laundromat if it was actually available in the US to watch. That's my biggest gripe. But yeah, here it is. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Is this what you want?